Verasity is revisiting a key support and resistance area that have been retested multiple times since last April. Now the difference this time is that a rejection from this line may announce the end of a 10-month correction. So if you're curious to know how, watch till the end. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is King, your host, and as always today's video is for pure educational purposes. Now if you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and if it's your first time with the channel and you happen to enjoy my content, then please make sure to subscribe and hit the like button because it really helps a growing channel like mine. Now let's go and look at today's chart. Before jumping into the key decision point, let's first take a look at the bigger structure for some important insights. As it stands today, the bigger structure is still incomplete. This structure have given us two waves so far. The first one is an impulse, which is this one here, and the second one is a correction, which is this one over here. Now in order to fulfill the most basic structure type, which contains an impulse, a correction, and then another impulse, we still need to see one more impulse up, and this means that the overall structure needs to have one more upside from here and form a new all-time high. So at that time only we could say that we have formed a three-wave basic structure. Now the second important point is that Verasity is still in an uptrend. Although the price had some deep pullbacks like this one over here and this one over here, however, none of those pullbacks broke the trend yet or formed any new lower lows. The price have been forming higher highs and higher lows since the very beginning of this structure. So this was a low here, and this was a high, and this was a higher low, this was a higher high, and at this point we are still in a higher low. Even if the price pulled deeper from here and let's say it goes down further towards the 1 cent area, that's still a higher low, higher than the previous one which we had over here. The only case that will confirm a trend reversal is only if the price goes below this last low over here, breaks below it, and form a new lower low. And that hasn't happened yet. So on the bigger time frames we have two important insights. The initial one is that this structure is still incomplete and we still need to go up and form a new higher high in order to complete a basic three-wave structure. The second important thing is that Verasity price is still in an uptrend since the beginning and we have had no signs of reversal yet. So now let's move to the daily chart and start connecting the dots with each other. Now on the daily chart, this one over here is the second wave of the bigger structure which we talked about earlier. So this was the initial one and these three waves are the second wave. Ideally, after getting an initial impulse, the second wave or the corrective wave of a structure should include three smaller waves. And we will only be able to say that this second wave was complete when each one of these three smaller waves have been completed already. Now what we know for sure here is that the first and the second wave of this structure have already been complete. So if we take a look at the first one, this one has already been announced complete after its trend line have been broken at this point, and then we saw the price going to form higher highs and higher lows in the opposite direction. So this was the last high and this was the last low we had on this first piece. So as soon as we broke the trend line at this point and the price went above this last high here and then formed a new higher low, so only then we can announce that this piece was complete. The same thing goes out for the second wave of this structure. So if we draw its trend line, we can see that this trend line was broken here at this point, right here exactly, and then the price went also to break the lows and the highs of the previous wave on the opposite direction, as we can see here and here. So this one was also complete. Now if we take a look at the third wave of this structure, we can see that not both of these conditions were already fulfilled. So if we were to draw a trend line for this third piece, we can see that this trend line have already been broken at this point. So the first condition is checked. However, the second condition is not yet fulfilled because we have yet to start forming highs and lows in the opposite direction. So if we take a look at the previous wave of the structure, this was the last high and this was the last low. But we haven't yet formed any higher highs above this one, and we still can say that this is a higher low yet because it haven't broken the last high the price have formed. And here now at this point comes the importance of our historical support and resistance line. Now as you can see, this historical support and resistance line have been retested multiple times as resistance and as support too. But it's specifically very important at this point because it will tell us what is the next move going to be for Verasity. The price now is revisiting this line one more time. So here are the options that we are facing. The first option, if the price holds its ground around this point and gets rejected, then continue going up from here, two things will happen. The first thing is that the second condition for completing this last piece of the correction will be fulfilled. In other words, the trend line have been already broken and we already started forming highs and lows in the opposite direction of the last piece. So if that happens and this third piece of the correction is complete, this means that the second piece of the overall structure, which is the 1, 2, 3, is going to be complete as well. So that means the price now is heading in its way up to form a new higher high and complete the bigger structure that includes 1, 2, and 3. So that's the first option we are facing. But what about the second option if the price does not hold its ground at this line and falls below it from this point towards the downside? Now if this scenario happens, this will mean that this breakout of the trend line of this third piece over here, when the price broke above it right here, this was a fake breakout because the price still went down below it further. So this means we have a new trend line for the third piece, and this third piece of the overall correction is yet to be complete. It is still incomplete. So what we'll have to do now, we'll have to wait for the price to go down and then maybe attempt a new breakout of this trend line. Now what's important is the following. All of these scenarios that I'm talking about are going to be decided in the coming few days because the price is already retesting this historical support and resistance line. So what you need to do next is watch how the price is going to act around this line. So if we get rejected and we go up, it's a long. If we don't hold our grounds here and fall further, it's a short. In either one of these scenarios, this will help you make a better decision if you're planning on buying Verasity or if you're already holding it. You will also need to tell me in the comments below what's your opinion and which one of these two scenarios do you support. Appreciate all the support guys, and please make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and also share this video if you enjoyed it. This was me, King, and this was it for Verasity. So until next time, stay safe and see you later.